Welcome back to the Food on Demand podcast, where we dish up insights on the future of food relating to off-premises operations and the overall digital dining experience. I'm Bernadette Heyer, Managing Editor.
And I'm Hans Lemmerman, Food Service and Technology Reporter. Food on Demand is your exclusive source covering the ongoing transformation of how consumers discover, shop, order, and consume food in a digital age.
Well, we have a great interview today with Jeremy Cantarow, Director of Supply Marketing at ezCater. But first, we'll get into our quick bites. So Hans, what have you been covering and on top of mind?
Well, last week I had a story where I spoke with Olo CEO Noah Glass about his vision for the second-party future with the Olo app and Olo network. This is something that they imagine is going to transform the future of online ordering for restaurants. We spoke a little bit about loyalty integration and what that might look like for the Olo customers and even non-customers that'll be able to use the app. And then also about some other aspects of the app and how that will change going forward. And that will be released later this year. So definitely something key to watch for the future of restaurants.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in what that looks like. For me, I covered Shake Shack's new Project Catalyst initiative, which the biggest news out of that is launching their first ever loyalty program. So it's all part of a broader technology push that also includes POS and kitchen upgrades, expanded AI capabilities, and a stronger data foundation as the company scales towards about 1,500 company-operated locations. So the loyalty piece is especially notable because it marks a big shift about how Shake Shack is planning and attempting to drive guest frequency, retention, and of course, that more personalized digital engagement. So if you're interested in learning about a brand that's been around for a while and successful, just launching their first loyalty program, that's a great article to check out. Well, now we'll get into our guest interview.
Jeremy Cantarow is Director of Product Marketing at ezCater, a food tech platform that powers corporate catering, discovery, and ordering across a network of more than 100,000 restaurants and catering partners. Jeremy, I know that you've been with ezCater for about 7.5 years now. And with the pandemic and constantly changing consumer trends, I'm certain that you've seen your fair share of trends around catering come and go over the years. So what are some of the major trends that you're currently seeing fade in and out for the industry?
Yeah, I think to start, one of the big things that we've seen is that it continues to be a really big growth driver. More businesses are ordering food for more occasions. They're expanding beyond cafeterias that they might have used in the past. So they might be building out new locations that don't have cafeterias. Or they may have looked at, hey, we're in a new hybrid system and a cafeteria doesn't quite fit what we need on site anymore. So a lot of times what we're seeing is some of our customers rely on ezCater to bring lunch to their workplace as often as 5 times a week, sometimes even multiple times a day. And so there's a lot more food coming into workplaces, and we're also seeing an evolution of the needs within those workplaces. So when I first started ezCater before the pandemic, it was a lot of tray catering. And now we're seeing, individual packaging became something that got big during COVID. But we've seen that continue. We've actually seen pretty equal weighting between the needs for tray catering plus also individual meals and meal boxes and things like that. So what type of offering they need and what they're seeing in terms of packaging has definitely evolved. And we've also seen the growth of various day parts, especially things like breakfast and now dinners are becoming, more important for businesses to order from. And there's also been this ongoing trend, more focus on dietary needs, allergies, vegan items, vegetarian items. Those have also been growing recently over the past years.
Yeah, it's definitely what I hear a lot from operators is, a shift with in-office catering, the individual lunches or packaged lunches, and that ability for those group orders so that employees can have more personalized meals and not, as you mentioned, buffet style always. So how is ezCater helping support those orders, whether they come through kind of the individual side, or the buffet style through its online ordering marketplace?
Yeah, so it's really twofold. One is, we are building out new capabilities. So we have ezCater meal programs. So as offices are looking to either replace cafeterias or they want to bring in more food on a more regular basis, we now have meal programs, which allows them to have their employees get subsidized meals that they can order themselves and bring those in. So we have that, but on our traditional marketplace, we're also working closely with our partners to make sure that those menus have both individual and tray style catering options so that depending on what the use case is, there's always something that those businesses can find. So we're trying to make sure that all of the optionality is there, and that we can meet all of those new use cases that are coming.
And so, like we said, with 7.5 years, that's a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of operators. So I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the most unique or perhaps standout approaches that you've seen brands take to connect with consumers and otherwise improve their catering operations?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily about being unique. I think what we tend to see be really successful is making sure that have an offering that is immediately recognizable as an option that meets the needs of customers. When you think about the business customers that are coming through, they're busy, they're moving quickly, but they also really want to try new options all of the time. So when they're going onto your website or they're coming onto the ezCater marketplace, it's really about having a menu and an offering that immediately jumps out to them that can say, I have a certain use case, I have certain people that are going to be eating as part of this occasion, and I need to be able to meet those needs. So things like very clear naming and descriptions accompanied by really high quality photos that show customers exactly what they're going to get can be really important. I know we had a couple operators on stage at the Catering Growth Forum last year. One of the things that they both did really well is clearly identifying dietary restrictions right up front. So, Condado Tacos, for instance, they have a bunch of different box lunch options. One of them is labeled as vegetarian box lunch. So, me as a consumer coming in there, I can immediately see that if I have vegetarian needs at my party, I can immediately go get that. And then City Barbecue is the other example. It's a barbecue concept, but they launched a black bean burger. And when you look at their menu, they have the same thing. They have box meals that say black bean burger box and things like that. So it's not like, oh, there's a burger bar and you have to click in multiple times to see, oh, there's a vegetarian option that will meet my needs. It's very clear, it's very upfront. And it's one of those things that it may not equal out to a significant amount of bookings for that partner, but it's included in a significant portion of the orders that they receive. So it's really about being known as somebody who can meet all of those needs because that's going to allow you to get that order and make sure that people come through and can get exactly what they need from you.
Yeah, and kind of speaking about the data side, how does ezCater kind of help restaurants kind of understand what's working best with their catering menus or streamlining that process?
Yeah, we do a few things. So first off, we have a team of menu mavens that are here that help all of our partners set up their menus, and they're readily available to do menu consultations and things like that. So whenever we have restaurants who want to ask, what are the things that I can change? What can optimize my menu to get more orders? We have a full team of folks here that are ready and willing to help with that. They've seen, hundreds of thousands of menus come through, so they really understand kind of what works, what drives clicks. And we can help you get through that process to say, hey, here are the top selling items, or here's what you should do with your photos. Here's where you should add photos. Here's how you should adjust some of these naming conventions. Here's different categories you should add in terms of beverages or desserts, things that are highly desirable by customers. So we have all that data. We like to share that with our brands because ultimately we just want everyone to be able to get as many orders as possible coming through. We've also launched some new reporting directly within our partner portal that allows people to understand, how they're converting when folks come through, and we're actually going to be launching some new updates to that soon. So we're really trying to help give more data to show, are customers finding you, and when they do find you, are they clicking through at the rates that you would like to see them click through?
Yeah, and just a follow up to that, thinking about marketplace visibility and those strategies to show up best and be intriguing to guests with pictures and descriptions and personalization. We talk about how important the third party marketplace is for discovery in general. Can you kind of talk about that and why that's also just important for reach and visibility and letting consumers see how many options or what options are in their area?
Yeah. Absolutely. It always comes down to you should always be investing in your first party channels, in your first party operations, making sure that you have online ordering on your website. But where marketplaces like ezCater become extremely important, it's really about, knowing where customers are searching and making sure that you're meeting them where they are. Ultimately, like I said before, customers want to try new options. They're always looking to change things up. They have, employees coming through and saying, we've had sandwiches a bunch. We want to try something else. So we have a lot of customers who come through and they have restaurants that they order from all the time, but they're always trying to work in new options. And so they come to ezCater to find those. It really becomes almost their catering search engine in a way. And, we had an example last year again at Catering Growth Forum. We had United Airlines on the stage, and they were working out of an airport outside Denver. And, it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. So when they were feeding employees on site, they were often going to, retail companies and just buying sandwich fixings and kind of building all of those meals on site. And then when they found ezCater, they were amazed by how many options were actually available to them. Even though nothing felt incredibly close, there were so many restaurants that they could order from to bring in that food. And now instead of going and buying fixings and doing all those things on site, now they're ordering from local restaurants and getting those meals delivered. So that's ultimately what it becomes about, is making sure that you can be found by those customers who are looking for options in their area.
And I was looking into the ezCater's 2026 workplace cafeteria report and some of the other data available through ezCater. And I saw that, the younger demographic versus older demographics, there's some preference changes even by age. I was wondering, do you see a difference in the approach that restaurants take to catering based on their target demographic even?
Yeah, I don't know necessarily that I see them targeting those demographics specifically, but I think the major trends are, some of the menu things that I talked about of, changing dietary needs and things like that. We definitely see, more vegetarian items and more healthy conscious items and things like that that are coming up with some of the younger generation. But also it's just really that trend of moving online. So it's not just the offering, but it's the fact that where customers are searching is they're searching online and they're ordering online much more than they used to. And so what that means is that, when customers would call into a restaurant and they could just say, I have 25 people and I have this many vegetarians, the restaurant could really work with them to, develop a specific menu or a specific order that's going to work for that specific use case. But with everything really moving online and moving into that digital experience, that menu has to do a little bit more work there. It has to be adaptable to meet the needs of all those different use cases. Can it meet the varying quantities that are going to be needed? Is it customizable enough that any order can get what they need for the occasion that they're ordering for? But at the same time, I know on the restaurant side, that menu needs to be adaptable for the customer, but also not so customizable that it puts a burden on operations. So it's definitely that delicate balance, but I think it's moving online and being able to meet those customers where they are in a very simplified, easy to use ordering experience is really the trend of some of those younger generations coming up. But just in general, we see people moving that way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking a bit about tech stack and tech integrations, we know that last year ezCater integrated with workplace operating system Slack, for example. Can you kind of peel back the curtain for us about the broader goal initiatives that this is trying to address as far as that connectivity and communication?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's, organizations that they're relying deeply on embedded technology to manage travel, expenses, communication, and food is really no different. And our investment in these integrations is really the same reason we're focused on integrating on the restaurant side. So the reason that we're focused on bringing more menu and point of sale integrations to the restaurant side, it's about being able to integrate directly into those tech stacks and those daily operations. So it's really about making sure that we are creating a platform that organizations can use for all of their food needs and make sure that as they want to bring in more food from local restaurants, it's easier to do that. And with Slack in particular, the reason we brought that to market was because it's designed to bring the ezCater meal program more directly to employees. So they're working in Slack all of the time. It's the main communication tool of so many organizations across the country. And so now with that Slack integration, it means that employees can get reminded to place their orders for their meals, or they can reorder very quickly, or they can see the status of where those meals are. And so it just makes it much easier for them to bring in food from those local restaurants. We had one of our customers, Appfolio, they actually told us that because everyone was able to order all of their meal program meals through Slack instead of using a separate app, they actually saw a 14% increase in lunch participation. So it's really about how do we make this easier for organizations to bring in that food from restaurants, and it really helps grow both sides of the business.
And speaking of the integrations and streamlining the ordering process, there's been a lot of talk in the industry recently about ordering shifting to, the agentic processing, agentic commerce. What is kind of your perspective on that and ezCater's approach to positioning for that future?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think everyone's thinking about. I wouldn't say that I'm the foremost expert in that area specifically, but it's something that we're always looking into, and really it starts with, again, making sure that, as restaurants are planning for the future, it becomes about when you think about what those AI engines are looking for, it's really about those descriptions and things like that. And so ultimately what I focus on in my role is, again, with those menus, with your website, on ezCater, are we really making it clear for customers or for those engines to find the information that they're looking for? So again, I always go back to it starts from, do you have really clear descriptions? Is it easy to understand your menu and work through your menu so that whether it's a human or a computer on the back end kind of trying to understand what your offering is, that it's easy to parse that information and get exactly what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to bring some of this insight to the conference. Many panels at the Food on Demand conference is going to be covering areas that you spoke about. But in particular, we also are excited to have the Catering Growth Forum back, which you mentioned throughout the interview. What can people expect from the Catering Growth Forum for anyone listening who's interested in stopping by?
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to bring back the Catering Growth Forum at Food on Demand again, and excited to be in Dallas this year. And really, what ezCater is bringing is similar to what we've brought in past years. So we're bringing data and insights that our restaurant partners and other parties in the restaurant space, I think, will find interesting and won't be able to find anywhere else. We're doing lots of surveys. We have data from all of our millions of transactions across the marketplace. So we're going to bring those data and insights with us. And then we're also going to bring high value customers directly on stage. So we're going to allow restaurant partners and operators to hear directly from those customers what's important to them, what drives them to place orders or stops them from placing orders, and what's really important within that fulfillment experience. So we're going to have them on stage so our partners can hear directly from them and they can ask them questions directly. And we're also going to be bringing some high performing operators as well. So you can hear directly from them. What are they investing in? What are the trends that they're seeing? What are they preparing for? What are those things that have made them so successful? So on stage, we're going to bring a lot of data and insights and a lot of great perspectives. And then we're also going to have our innovation lab on the back end. So we're going to have members of our product team, members of our support teams. I mentioned the menu mavens earlier. They're going to be there to help with menu optimizations and things like that. So it's a great place for folks within the restaurant industry to come interact with our leadership team and hear what we're working on, but also provide feedback and help us understand what their needs are as well.
Well, we really appreciate you sharing all your insight today. And we always like to close with our section that we call Did You Leave Room for Dessert? Just 3 lightning round questions. But before we do that, is there anything else that you're seeing in the catering side of things that you'd like to mention that we didn't touch on today?
No, I think we touched on a lot, and I think we're going to touch on a lot more of these things at the Catering Growth Forum. So I really would invite folks to come show up there and really hear more of that data firsthand, because we're going to go deep into a lot of these areas, especially, how you can perform incredibly well in that digital experience, make sure that you're bringing the offering that meets all of those customer needs, and we'll get into more of those use cases. But the big thing is that those use cases are different, but they all provide significant opportunity. And so there's definitely ability for restaurants, both the national chains as well as all of the local independent restaurants, to really be successful in this space as long as they can build an offering that meets those customer needs. So we're going to go deep on that, and I would just encourage people to attend.
Well, we're certainly excited to see you there. And I think Bernadette will take it away with our first lightning round question here.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, so what is your favorite or top choice of cuisine to get catered for you personally, and maybe from where?
Oh, I don't know that I can pick a favorite. I'm gonna
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna plead the fifth on that one, but I
Yep.
think, Mexican is one that I always really enjoy. I love a burrito, but I also love a taco bar and the ability to make something that, meets my needs. So yeah, taco bar is always top of mind for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best options for customization.
Yes.
Very,
Absolutely. Yeah,
very.
it's very easy to get what you want. You can get that guacamole if you like it. Yeah, it's always good.
And then how about what is your typical choice of dish to bring to an office or community potluck?
Ooh, a potluck.
Back to the tacos?
Yeah, no, you know what? I leave that to the professionals sometimes. I don't like to do that for myself. I'm trying to think. I've been, making a vegetarian chili that I really enjoy. And I do that in an Instant Pot, one of those automated pressure cookers. So that's one that is easy to make and is really delicious. So definitely something that I think is a crowd favorite.
Yeah, and when push comes to shove, somebody also has to bring the sodas and the plates. So that's never a bad
Yes.
answer either.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so final one for you, Jeremy, to get to know you a little better. Spring is here, summer weather right around the corner. What's something you look forward to do during these times, or plan to do?
Oh, it's nice to get back out golfing. I'm in the Boston area near our near our office, so it's been a long winter up here. There was about 3 feet of snow until very recently. So getting back out there, doing some golfing. There's a lot of kids sports. I coach my son's soccer team, and so excited to get back out there and get running around and just be outside generally. Whatever that may be.
Yeah, well, we're in Minnesota, so we completely understand and are excited for that weather too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we wish you and your son good luck this upcoming season, and we greatly appreciate you joining us for this interview today and look forward to seeing you in Dallas in just a few weeks now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you there as well.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed that interview as much as we did. As always, we look forward to you joining us in another 2 weeks for the next Food on Demand podcast. Please reach out to us with any suggestions or questions to info@foodondemand.com. Until next time.
Thank you.